Hi, good morning. This is Stephanie Sena, and you're listening to Thinking Constellationally on USALA Radio. On this show, we connect the dots between systems of oppression and between ourselves and our neighbors. Today, I'm very excited to have a special guest in the studio with me. His name is Yaroub Al Obaidi, and I met Yaroub. Maybe we started connecting on social media, maybe about a year ago or so. And then we finally had the opportunity to meet in person this summer. And I was so impressed with everything that he's done. I was excited for him to come on the show and share his experiences. Yaroub identifies as someone who has resettled in Philadelphia. Legally, the term is refugee, but we're going to talk a little bit today about terminology and how people identify. The term refugee is so laden with controversy, especially right now, where we are in this country today, that people in Philadelphia who have resettled, who are legally referred to as refugees, are often preferring to call themselves people who have resettled in Philadelphia because now they are part of the community. Yaroub came here to the United States from Iraq in 2016, and for 2 years he worked on an organization called Friends, Peace, and Sanctuary.
Project.
A project.
Yeah.
Friends, Peace, and Sanctuary, which was a project of Swarthmore University. It was the baby, the brainchild of the McCabe Library of Swarthmore, and also the Lang Center for Civic Engagement and Social Responsibility. So it was housed there through a grant by the Pew Foundation, the Pew Center. And it was an organization dedicated to working with people from Iraq and Syria who are legally referred to as refugees, but who, for the purposes of our show, will talk about how they are identified as people who are resettled in Philadelphia. So I'm excited to talk a little bit today about this issue and also about what we can do to strengthen our safety net and to help people who have resettled from places, especially places like Iraq and Syria, which have over the years experienced some incredible growth and beauty, but also some war and destruction, which I'm sure you know, having watched, if you've been paying attention to the news. So we'll talk a little bit about how we can provide sanctuary, peace, and friendship to friends, peace, and sanctuary, but how we can provide friendship, peace, and sanctuary to people who have resettled. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
So I'd like to talk a little bit, if we could start with your background, where you grew up, and what motivated you to leave your hometown and resettle in Philadelphia. Could you talk to us about that, please?
Of course. Thank you so much for this invitation. I'm so thrilled to be here to talk about this. First, I born in Iraq, in my hometown called in Bakuba in Diyala province, and I just lived like just normal childhood until I finished the high school. Then I chose to study art at University of Baghdad College of Fine Arts until in 10 years I transferred from bachelor to master. Then I became a lecturer at the same university.
Amazing. Wait, remind me the name of the university?
The University of Baghdad College of Fine Arts.
Okay.
Exactly, is the design department.
Amazing.
Yes.
You are a professor.
I'm professor.
Okay.
Yes.
You are a professor.
In design.
Incredible.
Yes, thank you so much. And in this one actually until 2007. So this is very nice time for me from 1997 until 2007. I found there is something very huge transition in my life. I developed my career from student to lecturer. That's something very excited, very cool at the same department. And when I was a student, then in the other time I became a lecturer with my teachers, with my lecturer. I believe that's actually a very remarkable moment for me, and I achieved too many things in that time. Like in academic, and also my lecturers, my teacher, they start to look at me like I am their friend or something. This kind of relationship is very, very remarkable for me.
I can relate to that. I also have some professors who were my teachers.
Yeah.
One in particular who I adore, Charlie Hardy.
Yeah.
And Dr. Hardy was my professor when I was an undergrad, and
Yep.
then I went on to graduate school, and I eventually ended up teaching in the same department where he teaches. And so he went from being my professor to,
Yep.
at one point, I don't teach at Westchester University
Yep.
often, but at one point to my colleague. So it really is a remarkable transition.
You know, when your teacher became your friend, become your colleague, is something very, very cool.
Absolutely.
But you know, actually, that's nice moment. Didn't take long time until in 2007. I threatened by group of people. I don't know who they are, but they targeted me and they been to my home. They look after me, and in that time, I also it's only my mom in at home. Then she called me. She say some people with the machine gun. They came. They look about you exactly, and they say something like, you know, because my mom came with this idea because they say something about, you know, while they are talking to each other, they say something about, because I'm teacher or art teacher, and art consider a sin or something, you know.
Oh, wow.
That's what we can understand from that moment.
Oh.
You know, it's very blur image, very conflicted issues. Then my mom asked me to not come back home, and that's what I did. I been for a few days in my aunt's house. I just skipped there until I get my passport, my luggage. My mom bring me the luggage. Then I left Iraq to Syria.
Oh my goodness. Wait, so
Yeah.
so what you're saying then is you were targeted because you were an art teacher.
That's what we.
That's what you think.
Yes, that's what
yeah.
we think, because there is a conversation between those people while they are looking. Of course, you know, my mom also very scary, very, you know,
sure.
actually it's very. I can't describe the situation that time, but you know, she said that they say something about teaching art or something. Then
Yeah.
you know, teaching art is a sin because art is not allowed by
So
that
can you-
radical group.
By radical group.
Yep,
Can you
the
give me a
radical
little
religion,
bit of
yep.
context? This radical group that believed that art is a sin
Yep.
was this something new in your community, or
Actually-
was this ongoing? Had you faced any kind of
Actually,
retribution before?
it's not new, but you know, when everything under control, when there is a strong government, no one can do that. That's why there is a critique. There is always a critique, you know, between the religion and the art. Is it allowed to do like a sculptor, the whole human, or just half? You know, this sometime this issue actually connected to the creation or something from some point.
Yes.
So that's the point, that the critique. Is it art allowed or not?
Okay. But when there's a strong government in place,
Yes.
you don't have people running
Exactly.
around with machine guns who are threatening.
Exactly, threatening the
And
artist.
at that point,
Yeah.
there was not a strong government in place.
Exactly,
So,
you know, and,
so these
you
people
know,
could kind of operate with
absolutely.
impunity.
Absolutely.
And-
Those people have
okay.
weapons. They can target anyone. They disagree with his opinion.
Oh,
Or
wow.
what with what he doing.
Okay.
Actually, if they, you know, because there is no chance to teach the people like what I'm doing. I'm
Right.
designer. I'm not you know, like I'm not sculptor or painter or something. I just do something like helpful to people,
Wow.
like furniture, lighting, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, those people is completely radical.
Yes.
They disagree with any opinion. They just believe in themselves. That's why you can see that even they destroy so many artifacts.
Yes, and
because
museums.
the
yeah.
museums, because they don't respect the human, not respect art.
Wow.
So many human killed by them.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and
What
then-
do you know the name of this radical group?
I'm not very sure, to be
Okay,
honest. But
okay.
you know, there is so many people in that time.
Yeah.
You know, few neighborhoods is out of control of the government. You know,
Okay.
that's why I'm not sure. Also, I'm not that much involved in that issue.
Okay.
In that time, I just care about. You know, I go to work back home. You know,
Yeah.
reading, writing, do some activities.
Okay.
But you know. So this until 2007. Then I have 2 days to leave the country.
Wow.
And in that time, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I should leave. Then I went to Syria for a first step. And in that time, when I been to Syria in 2007, in April exactly, I found myself like a lost, because in Syria there is
Um,
around 2 million people, 2 million Iraqi people. The limited opportunities.
Okay.
That's why I start to. I have dream to achieve. I want to still continue my life. So with anyway. That's why I look through the internet and I found job in Malaysia. In that time, there is a company. They need someone who know Arabic, English, have some skills in administration, something like that. Then I accepted. That's why I traveled to Malaysia in
Okay.
2007,
Wow.
and from 2007 until 2016, I still in that company, and I take long time, it's almost 9 years. 2011, I started my PhD in art education, but I not yet finished because I came to USA, and still on hold. I have the research undergoing, but I still need to go for defense and some other requirements. So this one until 2016.
Okay. You were in Malaysia until
I'm in Malaysia,
2016.
yes, and
And what was Malaysia like?
Malaysia is like, as a country, the rules, Malaysia, they didn't sign the memorandum for refugees. That's why you are in Malaysia like illegal
Ah.
person. But if the police catch or arrested you, the United Nations can send someone to release, because you are illegal, but most of the time they are not allowed to return back you to your country.
Okay.
Okay.
But it seems like if you're illegal, it's a situation that's potentially risky for you.
Absolutely, it's very risky. Police can arrest you anytime. You don't have the right to open bank account.
Ah.
You don't have the right to have a driver license. Don't have right to work. Just stay there,
Okay.
just like that. A part of my work in Malaysia in 2011, me and some Iraqi people, we started something we called Iraqi Refugee Support Center, and with that one they appoint me like a contact person between United Nations and the Iraqi group. They call me the community leader, and I do volunteer work between United Nations and the community for about 5 years. I design some workshops for cooking, for learning, for English. If anyone in need, he called me, like someone arrested by police. He called me, I reached to the United Nations office to ask them to send lawyer or something. I contribute something to my community there.
Amazing.
By became a community leader.
Amazing.
And sometime, when there is a group of people from USA, from Australia, New Zealand, anyone came to Malaysia, he want to want to know about the refugees, what kind of refugees in Malaysia, how the situation. So United Nations actually introduced me to them, to that groups, to talk about on behalf of my community.
It's incredible.
So this one is 5 years work, volunteer work.
But still, it must have been a risk for you to do this, to work with other refugees in Malaysia, a place where refugees are illegal.
Actually, is for me is a little bit different, because when I started my PhD, I have legal visa.
Ah, okay.
So I'm in that time.
So it shifted.
Yes,
a little
I'm
bit for
legal
you.
and I am refugee at the same
okay.
time.
Got
I have a work permit for the company I work with. Then I became a student.
Okay, so it's a little less risky for you than
yes.
maybe some other
So
people.
I can go to, for example, if someone call me anytime, like he say, hello, I arrested by police, I'm in this police station, so I have my visa, I can go to talk to him, see what the situation. Most of the time this happened at night actually. Then the same day or next day I call the person in charge in the United Nations office, UNHCR, and I say we have Iraqi person arrested in this point, and I talk to him the situation 1, 2, 3. Then they ask one lawyer to go to meet him and start the process to release him from the police station.
Wow.
So this is for 5 years until.
And what made you want to do this?
Why?
Yeah.
Because.
What is it about you?
Oh, because I believe is not a choice. I should do that. I should help the community. There is so many people, they don't have the management skills, they don't have the English language, they are in need to help. That's why I see myself, I should be the person who help them, you know.
And where do you think that came from? Do you think that you were raised like that?
I believe, yeah,
Where did you learn that? Do you think it's just part of who you are?
yes, I believe I don't want to talk about myself, but I'm proud to be like, I think I'm always helpful to people. I want to be helpful. I want to be like, contribute what I have knowledge to make the people more happy, have nice feeling to me. That's a part of my personality.
Yeah.
And that's why I do that work, and I so appreciate. I don't say I just do try my best. It's not the perfect because the situation is very difficult. One I will mention one issue. In Malaysia, if the parents don't have legal visa, the kids cannot go to school. So this one issue we struggle until we find a solution, and the kids can still you know can go to school and continue further their studies. Sometimes people say, "Oh, we need to resettle. We need to resettle." That's why we work with the resettlement department, like to encourage them to increase the percentage, to talk to the embassies, and at the same time, I still have meetings with the community. I ask them. I say, "Okay, now we are going to a different country. You should have some skills." That's why we arrange some groups, some workshop for English, for cooking, for even uh, drawing and painting for kids. So many activities to make them more. Is a kind of healing. The waiting time is very difficult for refugees because they don't know for how long, and they don't know where they are going. So they feel lost. That's why they need some people to help them in that kind. And as an artist, I try my best to involve art, to involve something like I know cooking is very interesting activity, for anyone, especially for women, for that's why try my best to find some key to go through that community, to start to involve them more in something they like.
Whether it's cooking or art or something like that,
Exactly.
which can be not just a way to connect community members, but it's also healing,
Absolutely.
therapeutic.
Healing.
And for people who are refugees, and you're saying in this position of being a refugee, it's a limbo, right?
Yeah.
And they don't know what is in their future, and it's very scary, and they're often
Exactly.
escaping something that was incredibly scary. So this is a trauma,
Is
really.
is very scary. They don't know how long they are going to wait, and they don't know where they are going.
Wow.
You know?
This is incredible perspective
Yep.
you're giving us. Thank you so much, Yaroub. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we're going to come back and hear a little bit more about your experiences, especially here in Philadelphia. So
Okay.
stay with us. We'll be right back after our break. Thanks.
Thank you.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Hi, and welcome back. We're on Thinking Constellationally on USA LA Media, and I'm here with my special guest, Yaroub, who is a person who's resettled in Philadelphia from Iraq, and he's telling us a little bit about his experiences. His first resettlement was in Malaysia after he left Iraq, fleeing a radical group that was targeting him because he is a professor of art and design at a university. And at the time, the government of Iraq was very unstable, and the instability led to really chaos on the streets. And so people with radical ideas and weapons were able to operate really with impunity. And so they were targeting people who they felt were a threat. And one of the groups they felt were a threat were people who were artists or who were art teachers, and that was Yaroub. So in fear for his life, he fled to Malaysia. And in Malaysia, he stayed for several years, eventually gaining a little bit of stability. He had employment, and then he started to help other people who had resettled in Malaysia, who were fleeing potentially violence or destruction, chaos or war, whatever the case may be. This experience of fleeing is often incredibly scary and traumatic, and Yaroub, having gone through that himself, used his heart and his time and energy to help other people, especially connect with art and cooking, which he explains can be therapeutic for people. And people who are resettling are often in need of therapy and community, and he is so incredible to be providing that. So Yaroub, thank you again so much for talking to us today. You're incredibly inspirational.
Thank you so much.
And so you mentioned to me during the break that you actually received a letter of recognition from the UN.
Yes, because of my work, like a volunteer work. This is actually the last, and it's very remarkable letter, because this one I just received at 5 a.m. on June 15 on the way to the airport. I found the letter, they arranged the letter and they gave it to me. They say, this one for you, an envelope. Then when I opened the letter, on the way to the airport to came to USA,
Wow.
I read the letter. It's very incredible, it's very nice.
You read the letter on the way to the USA.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes, I read it in the way.
And the letter was basically a letter of acknowledgement and
Yeah,
appreciation.
they say Yaroub worked with us for 5 years, and he tried his best and arranged the workshop, this and that, They gave recommendation. They say, please, if you have any opportunity to involve Yaroub, he's so perfect. He have 2 languages. He have many skills.
So it was a letter of recommendation
exactly,
for you
something
when you
like
came into the United States.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes, that's what.
for the work that you had done in Malaysia with refugees who were resettling.
Exactly. I just want to add, there is no resettlement program in Malaysia, actually.
Okay.
The people there are just waiting, in waiting place.
They're in limbo.
Yes, exactly. Like you are refugee in UNHCR view, but in the government you are not. You are illegal person. So that's why you have the right to wait. So when I came to Philadelphia, actually, that in June, I reached exactly June
2016.
2000, June 16, 2016.
Wow, okay.
So it's 6/16/16.
Amazing.
It's very nice. And, I reach at night and, in Newark Airport. Then I came to Philly the next day. And, I start to get the help from NSC, Nationality Service Center, is the organization who take care of us and do the paperwork, do so many follow-up with us and many issues. They teach us many things about Philly, Well, maybe I came with my brother. We are lucky because we have 2 brothers actually here in Philly before us. We apply as a family. As a refugee, we apply to UNHCR as a family. But later on, they divided us. They put my parents separate, and they took our case.
Can you explain that a little? First of all,
Okay.
backing up, I'd love to hear about what motivated you to leave Malaysia, come to Philadelphia, and then also if you could explain a little bit about why your family was separated, and also like the laws right now, if you would have been entitled to come to or allowed, not entitled, but legally allowed to settle here.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. And after 3 years, they call us. They say, we have category for the young people like you and your brothers, the three brothers. But your parents, we don't have the category right now. So if you want, we can separate the family, and you can process, and your parents can wait for a little bit more, you know. So we don't have choice. We need to. Even my father say, why all of us here? So let's find a solution. This, a solution. We try the possibilities. He say it's better why all of us is stuck here in Malaysia. If all of you been to USA, that's much better.
Okay.
And that's what we choose. Then we came to Malaysia, the four brothers. We came one after one.
Okay.
And me and my other brother, we came in one flight. And actually, we applied for my parents when we came here 3 years ago. The first thing they say, you need to do DNA test. We say,
to
okay.
prove that they're your parents?
Yeah, yes. Okay.
Okay.
We say, okay, no worry, we can do it. And we did it, actually. It takes 1 year and a half to send the result to Malaysia. That's, you can 1 year, 1 year and a half.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly. And they are in the process, still not yet settled.
They're still in Malaysia?
Yes, they're still in Malaysia right now. Yeah.
So wait, so the United States demands that you have to prove that they're your
Yes,
parents
yes.
by taking a DNA test.
Even we say, okay, you are the person, you divided us. It's not
right.
our choice.
Right.
You separate us. They are
Wow.
we register in one family. But okay, we don't. Okay, we are going to do what you want.
But it's still a
You
year
know,
and a
to
half
be- yes.
before they...
They just sending the report to Malaysia is 1 year and a half, and they schedule the first interview. So the 3 years, only two things: just send the DNA test results and one interview.
And this is a whole waiting period.
And
You
all-
still don't
and
know what
all
the
of-
result will be.
Yes.
And meanwhile, your parents are in Malaysia, and they are not refugees there because refugees are illegal. They're considered to be illegal
They are not
people.
refugees, and they are 70 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but this is the
Oh
this is
my
the
goodness.
situation.
Okay. But the decision there was try to go to the United States
Yes,
and
yes.
instead of
To
us
follow,
staying here.
to follow
okay,
us. But
okay.
it takes some time. Anyway, so in that time we met with one American artist. Actually, we are lucky because we met him about 1 month after we came here. I met him in Northeast. The meeting arranged by NSC, and his name is Michael Rakowitz. He's based in Chicago. He's American Iraqi. His mother is Iraqi Jewish. Left Iraq in 1940, late of 1940, and they came to US, and he became artist. But his
mother fled in 1940 or 40
yeah,
around there.
1949, something like
Yeah,
that. They fled
okay.
from Iraq.
Okay, and
they
so
came
the
to US.
context of that
Yes.
is that when Israel was created as a state in
Yes.
1948,
Yes.
Jews from Iraq and from other
They-
places in the Middle East
Yes.
were kicked out. They were
Yes.
not allowed to
That's-
remain.
that's
But
what
there is
happened. That's what happened.
there had been an incredibly vibrant Jewish community in
That's-
Iraq
that's
and
true.
in many countries throughout the Middle East.
That's
But
true.
when Israel was created in 1948, these countries throughout the Middle East
Yeah.
said, if then if you have this homeland in Israel, you're no longer welcome
Yep.
here.
So they came to US, and Michael
Ah.
born in US in 1973.
Interesting.
But
So these are
he's still,
these are Iraqi Jews. I lived in Israel for a short period of time, and I lived with Iraqi Jews.
Yeah.
They spoke Arabic
Yeah.
and a little bit of Hebrew, but they had learned Hebrew, but their original language was Arabic.
and they love Iraq so much.
They love
until now.
Iraq so
Yes,
much,
absolutely. I know
and
that.
they're called in Hebrew. It's Sephardi Jews, which are and the history is fascinating.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
okay, so you're talking to me, and I'm thinking a little
Yep.
bit of the context
Yep.
of what's
So-
happening in the 1940s, why they're leaving Iraq,
Yep.
and so instead of going to Israel, though, they settle in the United
came
States.
to US,
Got
yes.
it. Okay.
Then we met with Michael, and he have a project called Radio Silence. Radio Silence is about Iraqi culture, storytelling. Program is a podcast and also a live performance. And we start to share the ideas, with Michael until we found that we are good. And he have one idea. I came with one idea called Dolphin Man. And that time he found this very interesting. And we make a live performance on the stage in Independence Hall in 2017.
Amazing.
Yep. And that's the first time I involved with art. I start to work with the mural arts and
In Philadelphia.
in Philadelphia, and because that project is a joint between Michael and Mural Arts.
Even though, but he's in Chicago.
He's in Chicago,
okay,
yes.
but it's still a joint operation.
Yes, absolutely. And from that time, I jump to other step in my life because Mural Arts. One of my friends, she worked there. She said the Swarthmore College need someone to work with them in a project for Iraqi and Syrian.
Okay.
It's for refugees.
Yes.
Then I apply to that position. Then I did the interview with Miss Peggy Seiden. She's the director. She's the librarian at Swarthmore. And Katie Price from Lang Center at Swarthmore. They are both who put the idea and write the grant for that project. And I'm so glad they called me. They say, Yaroub, you accepted to be a community liaison for the project.
Wow.
And this actually another time I have the chance to show myself, to go back again to my artistic life. And this 2 years a project by as I said, is by Swarthmore College, the library McCabe Library and Lang Center, and is funded by Pew Center for Arts and Heritage, and this 2 years a project for Iraqi and Syrian people who were settled in Philadelphia. That's what we call them, because we are talking about belonging, about how the people belong to their new community, new city. Then one of the idea, actually, we say that let's call them the people who resettled in Philadelphia, to give them that feeling they are no more refugees, they're no more waiting, they resettled already. This one point, we found something very, even for myself, the terminology of refugee is very sensitive word. That's why we choose something else to be more, like this a project to be more
welcoming and inviting.
Exactly, welcoming. Exactly.
And to
yes.
To say instead of refugee, people who are resettled,
Yep.
it's really connecting them to their community here in Philadelphia.
Absolutely, they feel they became a community here.
Yeah, but legally they're considered refugees.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
But this word is so laden with controversy right now that
absolutely legally
makes
refugees.
sense. Okay.
Then this is 2 years a project, and is about book arts. We invite 5 artists from around U.S. To teach those people who are settled in Philadelphia. Is 15 collaborators. This another issue. We call them collaborators, not participants, because we need their contribution to the project.
I love that. I'm writing that down.
You
call them collaborators
yes,
and not participants.
we have 2 things. We have people resettled in Philadelphia, and we have collaborators.
Okay, I love
that.
That's
the 2 words we use in all the project.
I love that. That is a mind shift
Yep.
for me. It's a paradigm shift. I feel like when my organization's Readygov, Student-Run Emergency Housing Unit of Philadelphia, and over the years, we were founded in 2011, but over the years, I've gone back and forth kind of thinking about the terminology for the people that we house. And I've thought, at first there was a period of time where we called them guests, but that didn't quite feel right because the shelter was their home, and we wanted to create a home, and you're not a guest in your own home. Right? And then we shifted to eventually calling them clients. But that means that they are consuming something, right? But really, the energy behind Readygov and what I'm trying to do is create community, which is a collaboration, and it's in solidarity with people who are on the margins. And so maybe I'll shift from calling them clients to calling them collaborators.
That will be so good.
Okay, I'm going to bring that to my board's attention on Thursday night.
Yes.
But I love that. This is a paradigm shift for me. Thank you so much,
absolutely,
Yaroub,
it's with my pleasure.
pointing this out to me. Okay, so with your collaborators, go on.
Then, we have workshops to teach them, to show actually we know that those people, they have skills and to do so many things, but how to show that skills through this project, that's actually the good, the huge work. And actually this happened because during the 2 years of project, we have workshops about all the techniques of the books and to write stories, storytelling, everything. And also we do something like like connections with the institutions in Philadelphia, like Free Library, like Second State Press, Fleischer Art Memorial, so many organizations around Philadelphia. We connect with them. We do some public programming. We share most of the events in Philadelphia at that time, and we do 5 exhibitions in Philadelphia and one in New York, in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn and Brooklyn is a bookstore and publisher, and that's actually a very huge achievement for all of us, even either for the collaborators and also for the team who design and who did the work in that time. And I want to mention here also, beside Miss Peggy Seiden and Katie Price, Noura Al Marzouki, she's the project manager, and the artistic director is Susan Sisman. One of the remarkable moments for me in this project exactly that all the team gave us the opportunity. They say, after some time, when I work with them, they say, Yaroub, you are not just community liaison, so you are invited to put something, if you have idea. Then I share an idea with them. I say, let's do something we call the Sticky Family. It's a comic book, and we do workshop with the collaborators, and the community who write this comic book is very special because they are collaborators, and we have students from Swarthmore, we have lecturers from Swarthmore, and they do writing. I design the idea, and I do co-facilitate with another artist here in Philly. His name is Josh, and we do the characters, we do the stories, we make simple books to contain everything. And after all the stories and all the characters happen, we transfer to one of the he's illustrator in Philadelphia. His name is Eric Battle, and Eric Battle actually do drawing, do illustrate everything, and this became a book we call the Sticky Family #1, and we are planning in the future maybe we can do it again and again. So the Sticky Family is actually have 3 concepts. First is when human have the stickness physically.
Okay.
The stick physically, stick ability.
Okay.
And also Sticky Family, how the people can stick to each other, and how this new people can stick to their new community. How to stick in a family and how this family can stick to the community. So this is the concept of the Sticky Family, how it came.
I love that. So I have a copy of Sticky Family.
Yes, that's good.
And I've met Eric, who wrote for the comic book.
Yes, who illustrates.
Who illustrates,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
And so I think that it's incredibly compelling. The concept is brilliant, and also just the medium of art to express these things that are so important, and really to be empowering for this community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
All of them, they feel they are a part of that, and so excited about these workshops.
Amazing.
Yep.
This is incredibly fascinating to talk to you about, and we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about your time with Friends,
Okay.
Peace, and Sanctuary. So we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. You're so incredible.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Okay, hi, and welcome back. We're here on Thinking Constellationally, which is my show on USALA Radio, and I have my special guest, Yaroub, who's talking to us about his experiences as a person resettled here in Philadelphia from Iraq, where his life had been threatened by radical groups. And so he's incredibly inspirational and I know you can hear him if you're listening to the show, but sadly you can't see him. And I just will say that Yaroub is a light. When he smiles, his entire face smiles too. And you can just, sometimes you meet people who are they just radiate bright light, and Yaroub is one of those people. So if you feel warmth, you should be jealous that you're not in the studio with me, because he's really incredible person with such a sparkle. So I'm grateful to have met you, Yaroub, and the world is lucky to have you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
So talk to us a little bit more. I wanted to mention I had attended in the last several months 2 workshops or exhibitions from Friends, Peace, and Sanctuary, and one of them was at the Free Library of Philadelphia, and there were collaborators, other people who had resettled in Philadelphia from Iraq and Syria, who came with their own art. Actually, I purchased a piece of art from one of the collaborators, and it was framed and it's hanging up in my kitchen. So anyone who comes into my kitchen, I will point it out to you. And it's a beautiful piece of art. It's Arabic. It's calligraphy.
That's nice. Yeah.
And then in that same day, there was a cooking demonstration, and
exactly.
I think there were some women from Syria who were making some traditional Syrian food and dishes.
Yep.
And it was really incredible experience, and I learned how to make them. And it was so. I felt at peace in being there. There was another workshop I attended with you through the organization, through the project of Peace, Friends, Peace, and Sanctuary. And remind me with the location of it.
The location is Asian Art Initiative.
Okay.
And we do like panel discussion, and we have the bookmaking workshop.
Yeah, and and really, I think that it was like, what does peace mean to us?
Yes, most of the time we do like that bookmaking workshop, like what you feel about when you hear the home, refugee, like belongings, and we do some simple books, like a Zen, and we invite the people who want to share with us. Like to do collage, to write, to draw is actually open. The technique is open to them, and this a kind of like a collaboration with other people, what they feel, what their idea about refugee, when they hear the word refugee, when they hear the word, like belongings.
Yeah.
And this actually, gave us so much, encouraged to continue.
So in that workshop, I was taught how to make a book, and all the other collaborators and participants made books, and then the books are kept in the archive at Swarthmore's library. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
Amazing. And so another thing about the project Friends, Peace, and Sanctuary that I felt so compelling is that it's not only incredibly healing and therapeutic, especially for people who are incredibly vulnerable and who've experienced some massive trauma in their lives. But it also gives these people who are legally referred to as refugees, but who are, we consider them to be people who are resettled in Philadelphia. It gives them an opportunity to be teachers and educators, to have agency, and to share their gifts with other people. And so, there's this, I think, concept in certain parts of the United States and in certain people that refugees or, maybe people who are leeching off of us and off
Yeah.
of the government,
Yeah.
and, that they are needy. And there's this question of whether or not we should be helping those people, which I think is devastating, that is even open for debate. But Friends, Peace, and Sanctuary gives people who are in that situation the opportunity to contribute and to really make their community and Philadelphia at large
That's true.
better,
Yeah.
which
that's
is incredibly empowering.
Yeah, that's true. This project is not just like bookmaking. We build a community through the books, actually, and that's what happened. We share so many nice moments with those people, and we involved with many institutions in Philadelphia. We have one time we have dinner at the city hall. This one is the closing of the exhibition at the city hall. This we have a dinner there. We invite many people. They came. They share the Arabic food. They share the stories with the collaborators.
Wow.
And I want to mention two things. Is very important also. Happened to me here in Philadelphia. The other thing is actually is the Penn Museum when they opened the new galleries, Middle East Gallery, and I applied to be a global guide in that gallery, and actually I accepted, and I do that work from about almost 2 years. Every week I have tours, me and my colleague. We share stories from behind the artifact and some of our personal stories who connected to this artifact to increase and enhance the engagement with the artifact itself by the storytelling in the galleries. And
So the Penn Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology,
Yes.
and remind us where it's located.
is located 3260 South Street.
Okay.
Is in the campus and
Yeah.
University of Pennsylvania campus.
So this is one of my favorite museums in the whole city,
Yeah.
and I love to take my son there. He loves it.
yeah, that's-
and the Middle
that's good.
Eastern section, I think, is one of the most compelling for me. But
Yeah.
so you are a guide there for 2
Yes.
years now,
Yes.
and kind of marrying the personal stories with
Yes.
the artifacts.
With the artifacts,
yeah,
yes.
which is so vital because
It's very nice, and also I can see every week I can see like the people so engaged with with our stories with the gallery, and this project also is expanded to include the Mexico and Africa galleries that just reopened 2 weeks ago, and this project actually is very incredible, and we saw so many the feedback is always make us so excited about our work. Is also want to mention Ellen Owens. She's the director of the learning department, and Kevin Schultz. He's the person who run this project and who lead us through the training and until we became capable to meet with the people in the first time. This very remarkable work, and also I think is a way for self-expression, for the Middle East identity, Middle East stories, gave the people another perspective about people from there. We have more than 90% of the visitors, they never met anyone from Middle East before. So that's another place for the share mind meetings and share the ideas, share the stories. So this also a very remarkable place for me to work with. And I'm so proud and so honored to be there, actually, to be a part of this project. Also now I involved in another project, another something we call the international classrooms, and at Penn Museum also we have outreach, and and we have some students from universities, from schools. They came to museum, or we go to them. We talk about so many different about culture and heritage, not exactly about the artifacts. Also, the other thing is very remarkable when we met with warrior writers, is the group of veterans who serve, some of them serve in Iraq. They are, serve in Iraq, and we met with them here in Philadelphia, and we did 3 projects until now.
So who's we? Are you talking about Friends Sanctuary?
No, this one is separate. This one, me and my brothers.
Oh my goodness! You and
Yes.
your brothers,
Yes.
who have resettled from Iraq.
Yes.
Meeting with veterans.
Yes.
Many of them who were in the.
Some of them,
war,
some of them
in
actually
Iraq.
they serve in Iraq.
Oh my goodness!
During the war, and now we are a friend. We are more than a friend. We are a family, actually. And one of them is that's very incredible story. One of them, he's engineer. He served in Iraq in 2007, and he left Iraq in 2007 also. And I left Iraq in 2007. But what we found when we met for dinner in Philadelphia, I found that he served in about less than 2 miles from my home.
Oh my gosh.
Then we start to share the story about my hometown, his name is Lawrence Davidson. That's incredible. The word is very close. The word's too close.
Wow. I know a Larry
know?
Davidson, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
the same person. This was a professor at Westchester University.
Yes, Lawrence Davidson.
From Westchester University?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
He
He's the
taught
same.
Palestinian history.
I think so.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I think so.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Lawrence Davidson.
Okay.
Yes, he's my close friend.
Ah.
And we are with Warrior Writers. We are so close. We do 3 projects
Okay.
until now, and we are planning to make more.
Right.
So this also another like how to make the community 2 kind of community. They are very seldom to meet in
Yeah.
Philadelphia. How to make
So
them
the 2 communities that are seldom to meet are the community of Iraqi war veterans,
Yes.
who are U.S. veterans who served in
exactly
Iraq,
and Iraqi
and
people.
Iraqi refugees.
Yeah.
And
it's
you're
very-
bringing them together.
It's not me. Actually, this is the first time is bring them. We all became together through the Michael Rakowitz.
Oh, okay.
This is the first time.
This
but
is
you
the
know
man from Chicago.
exactly.
Yeah.
But how we continue our friendship, how to make it more strong, like until when one of the veterans call me or
Yeah.
call one of my brother, he say, I want to came home. I want to drink coffee. Stuff they
Yeah.
enjoy that time they spent with us. They start to ask to go to hang out together, to eat, to drink coffee, do so many activities
Oh
like fishing.
If you could see me, my mouth is wide open through this entire
Yeah.
interview.
Yep.
This is amazing.
And we have just like last month we have like Philadelphia Inquirer. They just released an article is about the friendship between us and Al Obaidi family especially, and the warrior writers. Yeah, the
Incredible.
veterans. Yeah,
Incredible.
that's also very remarkable. So
You've lived a remarkable life.
So I have one more thing
Yeah,
also
yeah.
I want to add, because I also see I think it's very incredible. I heard about a program at Moore College of Art and Design called Socially Engaged Art. Is a master degree, and I applied to that program. I accepted, and I just finished my master degree here in US at Moore College of Art and Design.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's very incredible, and is exactly about how to involve art with community more. I learned so many things from my professors through my when I do my thesis, the comments from the people there. I met with so many artists. I learned a lot. And that's another achievement I think is very important for me.
So at this point,
here.
I'm counting. You have 27 master's degrees. Is that right? Give or take.
It's just two masters and
Okay.
one PhD in progress.
2 masters
Yeah.
and 1 PhD
One in
in
design
progress.
and
Yes.
in design from University of Baghdad,
Yeah.
and another one from Moore College of Art and Design
Wow.
in socially engaged art. But the very common question, because Moore College is a college for women.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first question when I say I graduated from Moore, they ask me, "Oh, how come you graduated from Moore?" I say, "Yeah, because this project is for everyone, for male and female." That's very interesting question I always receive,
Okay.
even sometime from people who are students at Moore College or their alumni. They ask me, "How come you graduated from Moore?" That's the question. Is very.
Okay.
But I so excited to give the answer.
Yeah.
To teach them, to tell them that Moore College is now for everyone.
Yeah.
One more thing, finally, I think is very important to, in any case, any issue, when we look to that issue, the view, how we look to that issue is very important, and it's completely different. If we look to, like to refugees, like people who came here to get the opportunity to live, to work, this and that, of course we will be so nervous against them. Of course we are being so, we don't have that opportunity to engage with them. We think that there are people here to steal our life. But the truth is completely different than this. Refugees here and in all other countries in the world, because they are a people who have the life, who have the all property, cars, jobs, all same like you. How you live here, they live there in their country, but for some reason, that peaceful life disturbed by war or by violence, that's why they forced to leave. It's not their choice most of the time. It's just out of control, you know. They came here to have the new chance of life. So if we think that these people is forced to leave and we should help them to use the other chance to live here peacefully, to engage with them, that will be, of course, will be different if we think with the refugee issue from this point. Mm-hmm. So they are a people like you, they have kids, they have everything, but, you know, life is difficult for them. They forced to leave, to flee, to leave everything, and they came to another country. They wait a few years before they reach to US, actually. Me personally, I wait for 5 years, just waiting, you know. And these 5 years, of course, yes, maybe I have some opportunity to be productive, to help people to do something else, but some people, they don't have this ability. So you can imagine how you wait something for 5 years is very difficult. So they need to have healing. They need to have more people to take care of them. At least if you cannot give them, you know, like money or something, you cannot donate something to them. Just your nice feeling will be so great. You know, when they feel that there is someone supporter, someone nice to them, they feel, of course, their situation will be different. And believe me, I'm not wondering if I heard one of the refugees have successful story, because I believe that these people, they are not, you know, they are people with the skills, with the education, with the knowledge. They are not nothing and came here. You know, they have career, they have degrees, they have so many abilities, so many. There is a foundation for all of them. There is a base to build on. That's why, you know, I just want to invite people to change their perspective, how to look to the refugees. That is very important. Yep.
So I think that's so incredible and so vital that you're calling on people really to have a paradigm shift, to change how they understand people who are fleeing. That these are people who are just like me and you from their home countries, often living in peace, working, they have skills, they have history with their hometown, and in some way they were forced to flee.
Absolutely.
Usually fleeing, you know, persecution, war, conflict, violence, as you were. Absolutely. And they come here with trauma, but they also come with skills and gifts and things to offer. And so if we don't have any money to offer, we can at least give our hearts, you know, and make people feel welcome.
Absolutely. That's at least what we can do. And, you know, through the project, I work here in Philadelphia, I see that when there is a chance for these people to express themselves, they did great. They have, you know, they can contribute a lot to the new community.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This talk has been incredibly inspirational, and I just, again, want to thank you so much, Yaroub, for coming and talking about your experiences and your point of view. You are such an incredible gift to the world, and certainly to Philadelphia. We're very lucky to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And you really are the essence of community, and you are working and giving your heart and your energy to really strengthen our safety net. So I'm grateful to know you, and looking forward to working with you and spending more time with you.
It's my pleasure.
But thank you. And this has been an incredible episode of Thinking Constellationally. We'll talk next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.